What's up, people? We're back for another reaction. Uh, I'm going to do something different on this one because uh, I've got a bunch of different channels that I watch, just random stuff. I mean, from growing weed to music to travel to DIY to pretty much. I got a wide variety of stuff that I actually watch. So I just did a random uh, pick. And this one, I don't care how long they are. I mean, I don't know what I don't really want to watch uh, abused animal recover. I mean, abused animals. I'm down. I don't really care to react to because y'all see how big of a puss I am. Uh, but Trek Tindy is one of the ones is your winner today. Uh, it's more of a he does a bunch of different stuff. He travels. Uh, he gets on like cruise ships. He goes all over the places, DIY stuff, uh, and he's kind of like does like likes the luxury stuff too. So I mean, I know in my lifetime I ain't never gonna do this. This dude, this is what we're gonna be watching today. It's flying first class to every continent in 7 days. So 7 days he's gonna do it. I don't I don't know if that's a record, but but you get to see through his, I guess, his videography stuff. So it's something that that you and I probably won't ever able to do in our lifetime, just to travel like that. But um, we're here. We'll give it a like and like, subscribe, comment down below. Limpy reacts at gmail.com. If you got something you want me to react to, just send me a link, or YouTube, Facebook, uh, Twitter, Twitter, uh, Twitch. Uh, what else am I missing? TikTok. If y'all got anything y'all want me to react to, all right. Hopefully, it's nothing that's like 15 seconds long because you can't get a good reaction unless it's a compilation of bunch of stuff. But this is gonna be a long one here, people. Uh, it's like uh, I think it's 45 minutes long. Uh, it's like I said, his videos are pretty good. He's from like Great Britain or somewhere England area or something like that. But and it's not one of them. I don't know. Oh boy, somebody killing. But here we go.
Today, I'm flying to every continent in the next 7 days, entirely in first class. From Australia to South America to Antarctica, in 9 of the...
Oh yeah, he eats some weird food too. Some of the stuff that he eats, isn't part of my, But I mean, if you're traveling upon the rich and famous, you're going to eat some of this. I don't even know if I rich and famous, high dollar. I don't think I would.
world's most luxurious planes. With a sticker price of $60,000, you can expect in-flight showers, private bedrooms, and Michelin-starred dining. Oh, and you're invited along for the ride. Let's pick up my mammoth journey then, on the ground in Doha, Qatar.
Well, hello there and welcome back to the channel. I cannot quite grasp the magnitude of what I'm about to embark on. Let's go and head straight in and check in for my first flight.
Qatar Airways offer a separate check-in channel for first-class passengers, which feels more like a boutique hotel check-in rather than an airport. With formalities processed promptly, let's head through security. Rather uniquely, as you exit passport control, there's no duty-free or busy terminal to deal with, just a private entry to the first-class lounge, which, by the way, is absolutely massive.
Shit.
To begin with, I'll stow my bags in the provided private bedroom, which is a handy feature, especially if you have a long layover. I think we'll start off with a spot of dinner in the restaurant. The menu is extensive, and you for sure won't go hungry here. To kick things off, I'm served a tasty glass of rosé champagne. Sadly, Krug is no longer served in here. For main, of course, I just have to go for a Trek trendy staple, which is beautifully presented.
Steak.
With dinner out of the way, our finale will involve a trip to the spa facilities, specifically the jacuzzi, offered on a first-come, first-served basis. It's genuinely hard to fathom this is in an airport.
Or if you get a rub and tug
It's time
there,
to
too.
board our first flight. I'm proactively offered a transfer service to the
You better
gate,
be, if
which
you
is a
much
nice
you
touch for
paying,
first-class
better
guests.
get a little.
I'm led over to the front of the queue and upstairs because, of course, today's flight is operated on this huge 8-year-old Airbus A380. Let's get down that jet bridge and onto our new home for the next 14 hours. I've assigned myself 1 kilo today, though there are only 2 other guests in first, so I have my pick of where to sit. There are no overhead bins, so instead I'll stow my carry-on in the forward closet space, and my rucksack under my seat. Let's settle into my suite then. Priorities, of course. It's time for a pre-departure champagne. I'll go for the Laurent Perrier Alexandre Rosé, which is punchy stuff, retailing at over $350 a bottle.
Dang.
Let's get my
Dr.
seatbelt
Zero.
fastened as the
That's what I'm
safety video
checking.
begins to screen.
Baggage should be securely stowed in the overhead compartments or under the seats in front of you. To help with the final preparations for takeoff, please ensure your seat is in a fully upright position.
Finally, it's time for pushback, and so begins our
Australia.
epic journey to every continent.
Or if you're going to jump on, well, it's 7 days. I
Our
was like,
first
wonder if
flight
you're
will
going
take us nearly 8,000 miles over to Sydney, Australia, and our first continent of the trip, Oceania. It's not long before we reach altitude, and given that it's past
wonder if he's
midnight
gonna
now,
do
let's
this.
get changed into my
He's gonna have to
PJs.
layover.
There are 2 bathrooms located at the front of the
14
first-class
hours,
cabin.
14
It may not be the Emirates shower spa, but for an
I mean,
airplane bathroom, it's still mighty
He's going to be on a
impressive.
plane for like,
In terms of amenities, shaving and dental kits are provided, along with a diptyque.
I mean, he's going to be on a plane for probably, to do all this. I'm sure he's going to be on a plane for 2 or 3 days. Just flying. He's going to be on the plane. Oh, shit. What was that? My phone?
Amenity kit, which you're free to take home with you. You also get these super soft white company pajamas. Let's boot the Tims off and get changed.
Tim's.
Much better. During my absence, the lovely FA has turned my seat into a bed, complete with a mattress topper, fluffy pillow, and super soft duvet. Let's get some sleep in, as given the amount of time zones we're passing through this week, I'm gonna need it. Good morning. We're about to make landfall off the west coast of Australia. I slept particularly well, partly due to just how quiet and smooth the A380 is. Whilst naturally I feel like breakfast, local time dictates I should probably have a late lunch.
Surprised you're not going to get a cappuccino.
With my order placed, let's return my seat to the upright position in preparation for food service. The tray table retracts from the right console, and this is promptly set up with white table linen and a faux candle. First class is not first class without caviar service, complete with all the traditional trimmings.
No, I'm out. I don't know. Y'all like caviar? Let me know down in the
For
comments.
the seared Wagyu beef with massaman curry sauce, which is...
Yeah. I've never had caviar, but that just looks nasty. I mean, it looks nasty. I don't know if y'all like it or not, but it looks nasty. I mean, if you're doing that, I guess you can get whatever you want. I mean, that's Wagyu steak.
Is utterly divine.
Okay, Wagyu
With dinner
steak,
service
potatoes.
complete,
That's what I want.
let's explore this plane's party piece.
Maybe some corn.
Located towards the rear of the aircraft is the bar cum lounge. It's a lovely space to hang out with plenty of seating, with individual seatbelts, so you can remain here should there be any unexpected turbulence. There's a wide selection of drinks available, from cocktails to champagne. This time I'm offered a 2007 Alexandre Rosé. Time really does fly when you're having fun. It's almost time for our final descent into Sydney. Let's head to the bathroom to change and freshen up before landing.
NASA. What's that?
I'm aware that these time
Moisturizer,
zones are going
maybe?
to be a constant challenge during this trip, but given the sun is setting already, the jet lag is real. Special thanks to my friend and fellow YouTuber Josh Cahill for this footage of my flight coming into land here at Sydney Airport.
Oh, so that's actual flight.
With that, it's welcome to our first continent of Oceania. I'll be staying downtown at the Four Seasons, next to the Rocks and Circular Quay.
Staying there for a day, I guess, or I guess tonight.
G'day, I'm up nice and early to collect my express overnight laundry, and of course to enjoy a Vegemite brekkie downstairs. There's enough time for a quick morning explore to get those steps in
before heading onto our next flight and indeed next continent. And just like that, we're back at the airport. Let's head straight inside, go and check in, and I think it's going to be pretty obvious where we're going as soon as you see the airline.
Of course, what would flying first class be without Singapore suites? Check-in is a breeze, and within moments, I'm ready to head through security and exit Australia.
Maybe.
Time to collect the obligatory duty-free Tim Tams before heading over to the lounge. Singapore Airlines operate their own lounge facilities here, which sadly gets rather busy at peak times. This is largely because of the several A380 services operating to the airport daily, of which ours has just landed. In terms of F&B offering, it's solid but not quite first class. However, that will come on board, so I'll opt instead for a cappuccino for the mandated caffeine hit. It's not all too long before boarding is announced. This unfortunately is chaotic to say the least.
Oh boy.
After a moderate stampede of passengers, it's down the jet bridge we go, and time for a better look at our 12-year-old Airbus A380 taking us over to our next continent. Here we are then, upper deck of the A380 again, but this time...
So, if you're not first class, you gotta wait. Shouldn't they do first class first, since you're paying more? Instead of having to fucking deal with all the other people? I mean...
I'm a single aisle to one of the very best airline products in the sky, Singapore Suites. Like with Qatar, there are no overhead bins, but each passenger gets their own storage closet. Let's get settled into my suite then, as the champagne begins to flow. SQ serve a personal favourite, Krug Champagne, which retails at around $280 a bottle.
If there is a change in cabin pressure, an oxygen mask will automatically drop in front of you. Pull the lateral straps to tighten it and breathe as usual.
Now for pushback. With only a short taxi to the runway, it's no time at all before we're hurtling along it and up into the Australian mid-morning sunshine. Our flight today will take us some 4,000 miles over the next 8 hours, all the way to Singapore. It's not long before we reach our cruising altitude of 38,000 feet, so I'll take...
How long do you say?
Up into the Australian mid-morning sunshine.
I don't know, 4,000 miles.
Our flight today will take us some 4,000 miles over the next 8 hours, all the way to Singapore. It's not long before we reach our cruising altitude of 38,000 feet, so I'll take my seatbelt off and get comfortable. Each suite also features a closing door for additional privacy, so let's get that shut right away. My armchair can rotate 240 degrees, all at the touch of a button. How cool is this? I've made the James Bond villain joke before, but isn't it fitting? Right, let's take a look at the menu then, which is pretty extensive. You can also order from Singapore's Book the Cook service, which is what I've done today. As we wait, let's take a more detailed look around. There's a total of 475 passengers on board, across 4 classes of service and 2 decks. We're on the upper deck today, right at the front. I've chosen 1 Alpha, as row 1 is slightly bigger, complete with comfy leather armchair, TV, and a separate fold-out bed. Now I'm served another delicious glass of Krug Champagne, as I'm told my food will shortly be served. It will come as no surprise that my appetizer consists of caviar. As I said, it's a first-class staple, and something I only ever enjoy in the sky, or perhaps the odd luxury cruise or train.
Is that pancakes?
For main, I'm served my Book the Cook selection, the lobster thermidor with buttered asparagus, slow-roasted tomatoes, and saffron rice. With dinner service out of the way, it's time to check out the famous Singapore bathroom, located to the front of the first-class cabin, and one I rank as second best.
Did he just say the famous Singapore bathroom? Oh boy, I wonder if they're going to cut to the...
After Emirates.
Oh, it's occupied. Where's the...
SQ provide PJs and an amenity kit, with the latter offering Lalique branded cosmetics. Let's get the Tims booted off then, and change into my PJs. I make it nap time.
Oh,
a common theme on this trip, that's for sure.
Right.
During my absence, my bed has been folded down and made up ready for sleep. Without any more to say, let's close the suite doors, get those slippers off, and settle in for a doze.
I don't care how tired I am, I can't go to sleep with the lights out. I can doze off and stuff, but
it's almost time for our landing into Singapore. We'll head this time to the other bathroom, which whilst lovely is not as large or as special as the other.
Oh, so what?
Let's make our way back to my suite and prepare for landing. Our next continent is imminent. Well, there's actually a twist to our tale here. Whilst we're arriving into Singapore, we're not entering the country. This is a transit to another country, still within Asia, mind you, so we'll officially take off the next continent when we arrive in our next stop tomorrow morning.
So Singapore isn't...
Let's go and find the coveted Singapore private room, which we have access to.
Singapore Airlines have a special lounge within first class called the Private Room. Access here is strictly guarded. No frequent flyer membership can get you in here. It was actually only opened last year and is a truly beautiful space indeed. I think we'll head straight over to the restaurant. First up, the wine list, which is relatively limited but punchy with a tasty 2012 Comté. However, in terms of food, there's plenty, but I'm still feeling rather full, so opt for the Wagyu satay, which goes down an absolute treat. For the remaining layover, I've booked out one of the private rooms to get on with some work. And lastly, a shower in preparation for sleep on the next red-eye flight. It's time to head to the gate. Next, we'll be flying on board Singapore's Boeing 777.
If y'all have ever been overseas or anything, just let me know down in the comments below. I've been to Mexico. Not deep down in Mexico, but I've been probably at least 40 plus states, well over 40 states. So, but I've been to Mexico. That's about it.
Let's get down the jet bridge and settle in for our overnight.
This would be
welcome to Singapore's other first-class product, flown only on their 777s. With just one row of first class nestled in the nose, it's still a lovely place to be. As with our previous flights, there are no overhead bins, but instead ample floor space for my bags. I'm warmly welcomed and served a nightcap of crude champagne.
Who likes that champagne? I'd be hammered, I guess.
It's not long at all until we start to push back, and the safety video is screened.
As we bring you through this important safety briefing, stow your luggage under the seat in front of you or in the overhead compartments.
Morning.
Hope they get.
Well, good morning. I slept pretty well, to be fair. And with only a short time to spare before our final descent, let's get a caffeine hit on the go, in form of a cappuccino. Now, we really must go and get changed, as frankly, I don't want to roam around Tokyo in my PJs.
Why not? Everybody else doing it nowadays. NASA socks. NASA must be footing the bill on this since they ain't going out of state or out of space no more.
There we have it. Welcome to Tokyo, and formerly to the continent of Asia. We'll be getting out of the airport here, so it actually counts.
So you don't get out of the airport, it don't count?
For my layover, I've booked into the Conrad Tokyo, the perfect base for today's activities. Now, one of the more complicated parts of this entire trip has been to keep on top of all the travel planning during my layovers. Flights are only one of the many components in this ambitious journey. For example, where to stay, eat, what to see, and how to get around. Luckily, there's a solution, so I don't have to do this all on my own. Introducing today's sponsor, Magic, your personal AI travel assistant. Let me start off by saying Magic is 100% free, with no subscription fee or charge to book through them. Magic does so much more than just suggest itineraries based on your preferences, such as dietary restrictions, what a certain hotel expect when you get there. The best part is if you don't like something, use Magic to plan your. Thanks again, Magic, for sponsoring.
Of course, I'm in the very hello there and welcome to Tokyo.
Thanks, Magic, for
of course, I'm in the very famous Shibuya crossing, and it's quite hard to film and talk.
However, our focus today will be a few blocks over, where I get to drive something pretty special.
Oh, shit. I'm on the street. Them things wouldn't even move if I got on one, if I could even get on one. I'd have to have two of them.
Well, it's fair to say that was incredible. Now we really must head to the airport as we have another flight to catch. Today I'm trying out ANA in their newest first class.
ANA. American Airlines. ANA.
Check-in is efficient with no queues, and I'm escorted over to security in a matter of minutes.
You have to do this.
Through into the terminal, let's head straight over to gate 109.
Good
we'll be
Lord.
flying another Boeing 777 for this ultra-long haul leg.
Class or something.
It's a matter of moments before priority boarding begins, and with formalities processed, I'm down the jet bridge, bound for our next continent. Welcome on board ANA First Class Suites, a product introduced back in 2019. It still feels brand new though.
2019, and
it's not long before we're requested to fasten our seatbelts as the safety video begins to screen.
その他ご質問がありましたら、客室乗務員にお尋ねください。
And just like that, we hurtle down the runway and up into the sky. So where exactly are we going? We'll fly for the next 15 hours, some 7,000 miles over to New York City. What makes this even more unique is we'll cross the international date line, so technically we'll land before we've even taken off. I know these time zones play absolute havoc on your logic. I'm promptly offered a post-takeoff drink, and I'm happy to see ANA serve crew, just like Singapore Airlines.
Are there forward or backwards?
Next, let's take a proper look at the menu. This consists of both Japanese and international options.
You gonna get some caviar?
With my order placed, I think it's time we take a look around our aircraft. There are a total of 212 passengers on board, across 4 classes of service. Specifically, first class features 8 private suites, and I'm seated in 2 Kilo.
Kilo?
It's time for meal service, and to kick things off, I'm served gooey duck with Japanese parsley and sea lettuce sauce.
That don't even sound...
So far, delicious, but not something I've tried before. Now we move on to the seared bonito and North Pacific giant octopus sashimi. It's so impressive to have this served at 35,000 feet. For my main, I go for the sake grilled tilefish with crispy rice and tilefish stock sauce. To close off, I choose the dessert off the international menu, served with perhaps the most expensive whiskey I've ever tried, a Bicky 21, which sells for over $1,400 a bottle. With dinner service out of the way, let's boot the Tims off and get the comfy ANA slippers on. We'll head to one of the 2 bathrooms at the front of the first class cabin.
Eating some stuff that...
They're not the largest, but modern, super clean, and feature a Japanese toilet, or at least the bidet function. As for the PJs, they're oversized soft cotton and particularly comfortable. Back at my seat, it's been turned down by the lovely flight attendant into a bed. Needing no invitation, let's pull those privacy doors shut and settle in for a much needed sleep. Well, hello day 2. We've crossed the international date line, which means we're going to get the same day twice. How surreal.
What the hell was that?
Which means we're going to get the same day.
What was that? Why does it go look like a handle? Why does it look like one of them T handles that you know got the Allen Ranch head or the star? Why does it look like that? Guess I never paid attention, or I don't know.
Twice. How surreal. Well, I'm certainly in need of a caffeine hit to come too. It's also a chance to try out the phenomenal in-flight entertainment screen. Pretty sure this is the largest I've ever seen in a commercial aircraft. I'm notified it's not long before our final descent into New York, so let's get back to the washroom to change into my clothes. Welcome to the next continent of our trip, North America. We're almost halfway, would you believe? So to get into New York City, let's try something a little different.
You get to Antarctica?
You may at this point think, oh sure, an Uber, or come with me over to JFK's private terminal, just 5 minutes from arrivals.
Oh no.
Of course, it's been long overdue.
Maybe
it's time to try out Blade and the helicopter service to Manhattan. This is meant to take just 5 minutes.
Yeah, we'll just add, just get on the helicopter, no problem.
Well, it's fair to say that was epic. Now for a short layover in Manhattan. I've checked into the new Virgin Hotel with the most fantastic views of the Empire State Building.
Well, I guess if, you know.
Now for a shower, a slice of NY pizza.
In perhaps the most touristy place I could possibly find.
And before I know it, it's time to head back over to the airport.
Get back on the helicopter and...
Thank you for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. We've invited the first class.
This is only a short domestic hop down to Washington, D.C., but of course I'm sticking to the first class rule.
Thank you for flying with us, and have a pleasant day.
Welcome to DC. We have a few hours spare before our next flight, so I make it time for a quick explore around the nation's capital. I should honestly just live at the airport at this point, but our next continent is beckoning. Washington Dulles will play host to this evening's departure on the UK flag carrier British Airways. I'm pretty sure you can guess where we're heading.
He going home.
Now there's no expedited security for first class guests, but that's where my TSA pre-check comes in handy on this particularly busy evening. All through security, and it's time to check out the lounge offering. BA have their own operation here at Dulles, which is a pleasant surprise.
You gotta fly a lot, I guess.
There's even a separate Concorde restaurant for first-class passengers. Now, seeing as we're in the US, wouldn't the cheeseburger be a fitting choice? It's not long before we're invited to head to gate B44 for boarding formalities. Tonight we'll be flying this 14-year-old Boeing 777. We sure are flying a lot of 777s so far on this trip. Down the jet bridge we go, and into the ambient BA first class cabin. I'm aware this cabin is on the older side, but I do love the coziness of it, albeit without the bells and whistles of, well, any of our previous flights.
Your attention is essential, as this may differ from any aircraft you have flown on before.
Please check your seatbelt is fastened securely and worn whenever the signs are on.
Please now check your seat is in the takeoff position with the armrest down.
So if you haven't guessed by now, we'll be flying over the next 7 hours to London's Heathrow Airport, and indeed our next continent of Europe. Now we've reached our cruising altitude, let's get that seatbelt off and take a proper look around our aircraft. There are a total of 235 passengers on board, across 4 classes of service. I'm in one of the 8 suites, right at the front, which while slightly dated, it's still a very comfortable place to spend this red-eye. Some like to claim BA's first is like business, but the real estate you get here is significantly more than any business class flying, and yes, that does include Q suites. Anyway, let's take a look at the menu offered. Not bad at all, though seeing as I ate in the lounge, I'll save myself until breakfast. I think it's time to get changed into something a little comfier, whilst my bed gets turned down by the lovely FA. There are 2 lavatories for first class passengers, which leave a lot to be desired for first class. Things improve with the Templey amenity kit, which I rate as one of the best in the sky. And what's more, they provide fantastic cotton PJs, which I'm a huge fan of. I think all this travel might be taking its toll on me. I'm super tired, and what a bed. I absolutely love the BA bedding and rate it among the best in the sky. Let's get comfy under the fabulous duvet and sink into my fluffy pillow.
Yeah, I'd have to have that.
Well, good morning, I think. I've slept well, but these time zones have me waking up at the most bizarre times. I'm also pretty hungry, so let's take a look at the breakfast menu. My table is beautifully set, and I'm initially served some fresh fruit with some warmed pastries, washed down of course by that all-important caffeine hit. For a premature taste of home, I go for the full English breakfast, which to be fair lives up to its reputation as a greasy fry-up. Given our flight is so short, it's nearly time for our final approach, so let's get changed back into my clothes and put the Tims on ready for landing. Could you get any more stereotypical? The glorious UK in the rain. Welcome to our fourth continent, and incidentally, where I'm from, Europe.
Can I have a cup of tea?
So anyway, rather than show you London, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with, let me show you a brief snapshot of my home in Bournemouth. Of course this means fish and chips, a British seaside tradition, and some time with the lovely Millie.
Hey Millie.
Oh, and before we head back to the airport, I must give my barber Jack a visit for a fresh trim. Welcome back to Heathrow, and to this time Terminal 4. We'll head straight to the Air France check-in, because of course Le Premier is incoming. Whilst Air France Le Premier doesn't operate from London, we'll be connecting in Paris. There is, however, some elements of the service still present, such as being escorted to the plane and being first aboard. Euro business class, I have not missed you.
Must be flying somewhere to...
One uneventful flight later, and I'm on my way to my Parisian hotel.
Parisian?
Day 4 brings yet another continent. Given my early start and late arrival, perhaps staying centrally in Paris was a poor move. Welcome to Charles de Gaulle Airport. I can't say it's my favourite, but today will be a very different experience. Le Premier guests are invited to use the dedicated channel, whereby check-in formalities are done in a private lounge, along with a chaperone through security, all the way to the main first-class lounge. It's a truly special place, and one I rank among the highest in the world. It's not showy, but classy, with ample seating, a quiet zone, and even a spa. Mind you, just look at the price of some of those treatments.
Let me see here. I can't see shit. You got rubbing tugs? 270 quid. Is it quid in 190 quid, 190 facial men, anti-jet lag. Oh, I thought I said yeah. Wow. Where's the rub and tug? 30 minutes complimentary right there.
We, however, are interested in the restaurant for a spot of breakfast. Naturally, let's start with a caffeine hit, along with the Eggs Benedict.
Eggs Benedict.
Now it's time for our departure, but alas, this is no ordinary affair. I'm driven directly to our aircraft across the apron. We're taking yet another 777, and an older one at that, nearly 20 years old.
Oh boy.
Let's head up a level to the jet bridge and get on board. As with our Singapore experience earlier, Air France features just one row of first class and only on their 777s. It'd be interesting to see how this changes when their new first class cabin debuts next year. I'm actually one of the last to board, and within moments the jet bridge retracts and we're ready for pushback. Let's get my seatbelt securely fastened as the safety video is run.
On behalf of everyone at Air France, we wish you a very pleasant flight.
Air France. Air France.
So where exactly are we flying? Well, for the next 12 hours, we'll fly some 6,000 miles all the way over to Sao Paulo, Brazil. Now that we've reached our cruising altitude, let's take a peek at the food on offer today.
Oh, yeah.
Lunch
Get some
seems
caviar.
extensive and certainly a step above what BA was serving on our last flight. With my order placed, let's take a proper look around Air France's 777-300ER, which place hosted 296 passengers in 4 classes of service. Up front, there are just 4 first-class suites, and I've chosen one Alpha for the occasion. It's certainly a nice place to be, and there are even privacy curtains to fully enclose your suite, which I'll show you in just a second. Now for meal service. First up, let's indulge in a 2006 rare Piper Heinzig.
Oh, yeah. Whatever you just said.
This will go nicely with our appetizer, the French caviar, with a vodka and lime whipped cream. Goodness, the amount of caviar consumed on this trip so far. Now for main, the lamb confit roulade with pistachio and kumquat, which is a welcome change up from my usual steak.
You gotta have a taste for lamb.
With lunch service out of the way, let's get changed into something a little more comfortable. There are 2 lavatories to the front of the first class cabin, which is most impressive as you're only sharing with one other passenger. So the amenity kit, packed full of Sicily cosmetics, an eye mask, pen and wooden comb. It's time to change.
Eye mask.
What do you think? They're certainly very comfy. Upon returning to my suite, it's been made up beautifully, and by now you know the drill. Let's catch a few hours shut-eye to mitigate the jet lag.
Turn the lamp off and there you go. That's what I'm talking about. A few hours later.
I awake as we make landfall over South America. I'm offered a delicious glass of green tea, whilst I settle down and watch a movie for the remainder of our flight. I'm reminded by the friendly flight attendant that we're not far off our final approach into Sao Paulo, in which case a change is in order.
Sao Paulo.
Welcome to South America, our 5th continent.
Oh, Africa, but never mind.
Now, whilst I'd love to explore Sao Paulo, Rio has been on my list forever, and I have Simon Wilson to blame for that. By the way, do go and check out his channel. So let's catch a short domestic hop up there for an overnight.
Where I want to go.
Welcome to Rio. I've decided to book a room at the famous Copacabana Palace, opened in 1923, and a regular haunt of celebrities throughout the years, from Marilyn Monroe to Justin Bieber. Good morning. It seems odd not to have slept at 40,000 feet for once. Next, we'll take a transfer up to the Corcovado mountain.
Oh, that's what I wanted to see. Yeah.
So we have finally made it up to one of the wonders of the modern
world. Before I die.
This is Christ the Redeemer.
I know everybody has their bucket list, for street racing and stuff. They have, I want to go to Sweden, I want to go to New York, I want to go to Philly, go to Cali on Christmas Day, if they still do that. But non-racing related, this is number 1 on my bucket list. Number 1.
Back to the airport.
I'm not even
drop down to South.
I'm not even a real. I guess I am a religious guy, but I don't know. I've been since I was a kid. I wanted to go see that.
Paulo for the next leg of our trip. I'm sure many of you were inquisitive as to when we'll be seeing the familiar sight of Emirates, and now finally it's time.
What's Emirates?
Right, let's head through security and get stamped out of Brazil. With little time to spare, we'll head straight to our gate 303. Let's get down that jet bridge and onto our 7-year-old Airbus A380.
Didn't they just come, a tar?
I'm warmly welcomed on board and shown over to my suite. Whilst the design may not be for everyone's taste, there's something really iconic about Emirates first class. I'm initially offered a traditional Arabic coffee, which should hopefully perk me up a little.
Only inflate your life jacket when you're leaving the aircraft. Your cabin crew will now pass through the cabin carrying out the final safety check.
Are you going back over to time zone?
Our flight today will take us 15 hours and just under 8,000 miles all the way over to Dubai.
Didn't they? Where's Qatar
It's
at?
not all too
Didn't
long
they,
before
where
we
they?
reach our cruising altitude of 35,000 feet and service springs into action. Due to the flight's timings, I think I'll prioritise getting some rest first of all. Uniquely, I can take a relaxing shower prior to bed. It still seems so surreal to me that such a facility exists thousands of feet in the air. Practically speaking, you can actually have an enjoyable shower, though you'll need to keep a close eye on the water dial as you only have a few minutes of continuous running water. Much better. During my absence, the flight crew have turned down my suite ready for sleep. Needing no invitation, I make it time to sink into the memory foam mattress topper and soft duvet. At the touch of a button, my suite doors close, cocooning me in privacy and comfort. See you in a few hours.
All you gotta do is look over at you. A few hours later, that's me.
I slept particularly well. In fact, I'd rank this as the best sleep so far of the trip. Anyway, I make it time for, well, I'm not really sure what meal it is, but let's take a look at the extensive Dine Anytime menu. With my order placed, let's transform our suite back into a seat. At the touch of a button, the wooden tray table springs out of my console to my right. The lovely FA proceeds to set my table and pours a delicious glass of 2013 Dom. To begin, rather than another round of caviar, I instead opt for the Arabic meze, which is extensive, including hummus, baba ganoush, stuffed vine leaves, and plenty of pita bread.
That looks like some of that nasty shit. Happy
for main, I go for the chicken mandi in a traditional Emirati spice marinade with fragrant rice. I've not tried this dish before, but I think it just might be the best main I've had before on Emirates, which is quite a statement. With dinner out of the way and still a number of hours to go until we reach Dubai, let's kick back and enjoy some in-flight entertainment. Emirates have a huge selection of movies and TV shows, which I rank as the best in the sky. I'm informed it's almost time for our final approach, so let's head back to the bathroom and change into my clothes. Back at my seat, let's get that seatbelt on, and we finally come into land.
Habibi, come to Dubai.
Welcome to Dubai. And whilst this is back to the continent of Asia, we'll only be changing planes here en route to our penultimate destination. We'll take a brief transfer to downtown and to the wonderful Wald of Astoria for my overnight layover.
Like that look like a desert.
Well, good morning from Dubai. It's back over to the airport for us. We'll be continuing on Emirates for the next leg, so we can use their dedicated first and business class check-in facilities at DXB. Unsurprisingly, it's a breeze with zero wait time, and within moments we're ready to go through security. Now time for the Emirates First Class Lounge. There are 3 to choose from, but seeing as we're at Gate C today, which is essentially in Sharjah, I think we'll have to trek over to Lounge C, so there's no risk of missing our flight. One 25-minute walk later, and we're
25
here.
minutes.
So, the lounge. It's not as impressive as B or A concourse, but will certainly do the job this morning. Really, all I'm looking for is something to wake me up, so a quick caffeine hit for the bingo cards won't go amiss. Within no time at all, I'm invited to board, which sadly is not directly from the lounge, as you'd get in Concourse A. Here's our aircraft then, again an Airbus A380, which will be taking us over to Africa. Let's get straight down the jet bridge then, and settle in. I'm warmly welcomed on board by the friendly flight crew and directed over to my seat. I've chosen 3 kilo today, the same as our last flight. It's only a few minutes before the safety video begins to screen.
Your window blind should be open and your seat in the upright position. In the unlikely event of an emergency landing, please brace yourself like this against the seat in front of you.
Now for pushback. For once, the taxi is pretty short. It can get very busy at Dubai Airport. And within a few minutes, we're hurtling down the runway and up into the Emirati morning sunshine.
I guess they go.
Our flight today will take us south and down into the continent of Africa, some 4,000 miles all the way to Johannesburg. It's not long before we reach altitude, so let's get my seatbelt off and take a look at the menu today. I'm most impressed to find it's different to my previous flight. Often airlines have the same menu regardless of flight. Not looking at anyone in particular, BA. Let's kick things off with a delicious glass of 2013 Dom. Fun fact, Emirates are actually the only airline which serve Dom because of their exclusive arrangement with LVMH. Now for a proper look around our aircraft. The Airbus A380 has a total of 491 passengers on board across 3 classes of travel. We're in one of the 14 first-class suites in 3 kilo today, which is a lovely place to be. From the rich, comfortable leather seats to the automated pop-up minibar, the writing kit, and of course snack basket. It's time for food. The tray table is released at the push of a button and is promptly set by my lovely flight attendant. First up, and after a brief hiatus, caviar is back on the menu for me. Had to have a wee break on the last flight, as there really can be too much of a good thing.
Yeah, look here. Isn't that like fish eggs or something? Yeah, no thanks.
Now for something different, the mixed grill. I've not seen this on the Emirates menu before, but wow, what a find. Beef kebab, lamb cutlet, kofta and chicken sheesh. Absolutely delicious. To close off, I'm offered a selection of Swiss chocolates, concluding a fab meal. Now being back on board the A380, the shower facilities once more. However many times I'm fortunate to fly this, it really never gets old. Let's get my new moisturising PJs on and head over to this plane's party piece, and one we missed out on during our last flight. Located to the rear of the aircraft, behind the business class cabin, you'll find the bar. Choose from a selection of wines or perhaps a cocktail whilst you relax on one of the comfy sofas. As with Qatar's bar, you can stay here throughout the flight thanks to the integrated seatbelts. Next, we'll head back to my suite, as it's been made up into a bed. Now, given it's a day flight, I wouldn't ordinarily sleep for a long period, but after all that food and a couple of drinks, here we are.
A couple of drinks, here we are.
I awake to find we're not far out from South Africa, so after a quick change back into my clothes, and of course putting the Timbs back on, we're on our final approach.
He really likes that NASA shirt.
I'm delighted to welcome you to the 6th continent of our trip, Africa. It's certainly been quite the journey so far, and only one to go. Now I do have a special guest joining me on the next section of this trip, my dad of course, who's just flown in from London. I'm taking him on safari, something I know he's always wanted to do. This will involve a trip a few hundred miles north, not all that far from the Botswana border. Let's get briefly settled in to our 2-bedroom lodge here at the Mabazo Black Rhino Reserve.
Now, of course, no visit to South Africa would be complete without a safari and hope to spot the big 5. So without any further ado, of course, welcoming Dad back to the channel. Let's go on safari. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Day 7, Antarctica.
Dad and I will now fly down to Cape Town for the next leg of our journey.
Well, there we have it. 6 out of 7 continents visited. Of course, we've got 1 remaining, and perhaps, well, certainly the most difficult to get to, Antarctica.
Dad sadly won't be joining me on this next sector, instead opting to enjoy the vineyards of Cape Town with some family friends. Worry not, I'll be back to join them just after I pop to the 7th continent. Now, this is where things get a little different. I'm sure it doesn't surprise you, but there are no scheduled flights to Antarctica. But there's a solution. A company called White Desert offer passenger and scientist trips to the icy continent, and this is exactly what we're doing. Now to drive across the apron to our aircraft. The Gulfstream G550. I've never flown on anything like this before, but I guess there's a first for everything.
I bet that cost some cash. Ola right there. Your own private jet.
This is certainly very different to any of the first-class flights we've been on so far.
Emergency exits can be opened by moving the handle in the direction of the arrow. Please study the exit instructions when you board.
And just like that, we hurtle down the runway and up into the night skies over Cape Town. So what exactly is the plan? We'll be flying for 5 hours due south over 2,700 miles all the way down to Wolfsfang, Antarctica. Let's take a proper look around our aircraft then, with room for just 16 passengers at nearly 600 miles an hour. I'm sat in the main section of the aircraft, which features a dining table, sofa and 2 comfy armchairs. To the rear there's an enclosed room with 2 sofas, which convert into 1 or 2 single beds. It's time to boot off the Antarctica Edition Tims and indulge in a glass of champagne. I'm still, to be honest, in disbelief this is happening. I make it time for dinner, and the offering is impressive considering there's only a small galley on board. For main, I opt for the steak topped with wild mushrooms and potato dauphinoise. Then for dessert, the Greek lemon cake. I think it's time to get a little rest. This also gives us a chance to check out the bathroom, located at the rear of the cabin. It's compact but finished to a high standard. Time to get my teeth brushed and off to bed. We still have a few hours before we land on the icy continent. Now, whilst it looks like sunrise outside, the sun actually never sets at this time of year in Antarctica, and it's currently 1 AM for context.
She sleep on the couch there.
We're very nearly there, so let's get the Tims back on as we make our final approach into Antarctica.
You're put on more than that, dude. Well, I guess it is cold there.
Well, there we have it. Welcome to the 7th continent. We've done it. Every continent in the world in 7 days. I honestly can't quite come to terms with just how wild this whole experience has been.
How cold it is out there.
As I explore Antarctica by Skidoo, I guess there's one last thing to mention. How much did this all cost? In total, this came to £32,545. I've included a full breakdown of costs for you down in the video. £545.
So, good Lord. 55 Canadian, 62 Great Britain, almost 41,000 American. Good Lord.
I've included a full breakdown of costs for you down in the video description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all again next time.
Man. That was one of his that was his latest video, but I mean, something different. I know y'all might not be into that stuff. I know I'm not into caviar and champagne and some shit looks like it's shoved in a Trojan rubber. But man, to do something like that and to be able to afford something like that, or got sponsors or whatever to do something like that, I mean, the video was pretty badass. I like it, but I don't know. That's just something random. I'm gonna just scroll through blindfolded and then hit something, and there ain't no telling what that's gonna be reacting to. It might be from 10 days ago, which this one was 10 days ago, or it might be something from 2 or 3 years ago. Just something I watch, But if you got something you want me to react to, limpyreacts@gmail.com. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Hit thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next one. Y'all have a good one.